It's yet another day on Your Image, your public relations program on TV. Today, we are really concerned. The nation, the citizen, is really concerned. And we are treating the issue of energy. What are the solutions? In Nigeria, we have observed that between 1960 and this period, our population has grown threefold. And it makes it now compelling that energy management is highly essential. We've seen that about 59.5% of Nigerians lack access to energy. And even more than that, about $2.4 billion have been spent on generators and other sources of energy in Nigeria. For how long are we going to continue? We are looking at the solutions. And I have with me Ustaz Lawal Jubril. Ustaz Lawal Jubril is an energy expert and also a development enthusiast. Ustaz, you're welcome.
It's a pleasure being here. Good evening, sir.
I'm glad to have you again. I always enjoy you when you are around. But in this instance, what can we say is the problem, or what are the problems for Nigeria to be having energy crisis?
Oh, thank you so much. I want to quickly put certain things in proper perspective. I won't call myself an energy expert. I will say I'm a practitioner. I'm a person that knows about it. I'm an insider because of one or two few things that I do within the industry. But that to me would not qualify me as an expert. However, notwithstanding that, it does not mean that they are within the industry, and that is one.
And that's why you are here.
Yeah, thank you. I understand. Number two is the fact that I'm a Nigerian who has been living in the country for over 50 years, and whatever it is that has happened within the industry, have been part of it, just like you have been part of it. I noticed that when you are introducing the topic, you sat then later you sat upright, showing how concerned you are with it. And if you say at your age that you are concerned with whatever is happening in the power industry, it therefore means that it didn't just start today. Those are a thing that has been with us for a long time. And we'll quickly look at what has happened, what has changed within the industry. I grew up to know ECN, Electric Corporation of Nigeria. Then later I became NEPA. I think it transformed into NEPA.
And then it became PCA.
Even before PCA, it became NEP, National Electric Power. They removed the authority. It became NEP PLC. When they said they were migrating to become a public limited liability company, it became NEP PLC. Then eventually became PHCN, and from PHCN it was split into three. Because of privatization, we eventually had the generation, the distribution, and the transmission. Let's quickly explain technically what it means. It means that from ECN to NEP to NEPA to PHCN, we have a bundle. It's one single organization that is catering for the generation of power. For instance, Kanji Dam is under the control of NEPA, or NEP, or whatever name they were then. Then transmitting the line, the power, to the cities using those. Then coming to, those wires that are on the street of your homes. The 3 wires, then the 4 wires, sometimes 5 wires, that eventually brings light into your house from transformer. That is the distribution element. So all these 3 together before we've been managed by, that big company. Now said, can we, unbundle them? So we did an unbundling. That gave us the generation. That is, look, if you are for generation, that is, you are powering, you are giving us power, whether through gas or through dam. It could be hydro, it could be thermal, however it is that you are doing it. Look, let us separate you. Then we move on to unbundle again. We said, okay, when it is generated, as generation station, which you call GenCos, we need to transmit. Then TCN took over that. But for TCN, there was a power company from Canada. that took over that element of the grid, of the unbundling. But you know, they were just to Manitoba. They were to oversee whatever was happening in the industry. They didn't have full power. Eventually, Transmission Corporation of Nigeria. Then we have the discourse scattered all over the place.
This transition.
Yes.
What has it benefited us?
You see, I want to give people a background. I know that we have our time, but we need to have a clear background of what is happening, because there are a lot of technical issues to some of these things. Okay. So now we went into what we call the discourse, Kaduna, Enugu. We have what we call national grid. In other words, what distributes power. The grid is simple. In your house, you have a grid. When you do your plumbing, you have your tank, the overhead tank, and the take pipe from it that distributes into various homes. That is a kind of grid, a mini grid within your home that is supplying your water for you into your homes. The same thing we are talking about. We have the national grid that takes, you know, power, energy from the generation stations, and they distribute all over Nigeria to distribution stations. I will get to that. Now, what has, you know, the question, the unbundling, what has it done to Nigeria? I will tell you that practically we have not achieved much from it. And we can't because of the faulty foundation. And that's why I said there isn't for us.
What were the foundations?
Exactly. That's why I said we need to look at the technical element of the industry. You know, that's why I wanted to give a background. You can give what you have. You cannot give what you don't have. Now, how do I mean you can give what you have? Even when you unbundle to still give the power that is generated. And all of us knows that we've been hovering between 3.5 to 4,000 to 5,000 megawatt, which is abysmally low for our nation. And that's the first challenge. Our generation is low. We're looking at a combination of dam, which is water, hydro. Then General Obasanjo, as president, came in and brought in a lot of gas stations, like we have in Egbin. Egbin is a thermal, is a gas station. We have in Calabar, we have at Olonishogu, etc. All these are thermal stations.
Ustaz, some people, a school of thought has it that it is a well, it's up to you to explain.
I agree with you, but you see, if you allow me to explain one or two few things. When we had Ijora was a kind of thermal, Ijora power station and generate. Now, what has happened is that over time, over the years, we've not been able to get to a generations level where we have enough power being supplied. That's a big problem. Then after that, I'm coming to the human. But let me tell you the technical, why human now comes in. Because human is the one that will set up the architecture. The architecture will not set up itself. That's why it is human. But what has the human element, the human fault brought in? These are the challenges. We don't just
not thought of it in decentralizing.
These are the challenges that we're talking about. And that's why we need to have power stations. When you move and you go, at a point you build a substation. The substation has a power transformer that is supposed to pump up the power again to a level that can continue with the transmission. Now, these are also inadequate. Then two, we have a challenge with the way the grid is distributed in such a way that all over Nigeria, okay, for instance, we have two core backbone for Nigerian power. When power leaves from Kanji, there is one that passes to the southeastern, not to southeastern, down to the southwest. There's now one that passes to the northwest, down here. Now, those are just the two major backbones that we have. And that's why you see there is in Abeokuta here, you will see there is what we call a 330. There is a huge stanchion of 15 megawatt, MVA, that's a power transformer. Now, it irradiates lines to other places. That power station, that ingestion station has been there. Onikolobo has grown into Adigbe. Adigbe has grown into Obada, and there are a lot of other places now. We still have just that power station.
Perhaps I need to ask some questions.
Okay, sir.
You see, when there is decentralization, unbundling, and the like, it is expected that a feasibility studies will have been done to map out those issues that can forestall breakdown of energy.
If you recollect, he said there have not been enough investment in the energy sector.
And there came investment.
And there came money.
So what happened?
Yes. There have been issues regarding corruption. But the truth of the matter is, the kind of infrastructure we need to put in place to match our population and development are not still yet there. We need to keep on investing and investing. I was just giving an instance for you. I just gave an example of that on Ikolobo. Do you know that in Abeokuta, before NIPP came to build that power station that we have in, what do you call it? Bokoni. And Bokoni was one supplying Onikolobo everywhere until that one came. It was that NIPP project, that is a National Integrated Power Project, NPDHC, NHPHC, whatever they call them, National Power Holding Company, NPDHC, that now brought that way very close to Babasanjo's hotel. There is one there, there is a power station, it's NIPP that built it. There is one at Olomore, it's NIPP that built it. Those are the new ones that are coming, but we need like about 20 of such in Abeokuta. That's where we have the challenges. We are not having infrastructure now. When this was now eventually unbundled to the discos have not invested.
Let's go into the politics of energy development. There was a time that some state governments were readily available to develop power within their area. And politically, the leadership as at that time felt that and then dissuaded state government from doing that. What is happening? And look at the current decision of the federal government saying that you can decentralize power.
You phrase the question. Will make me not to go to the first part of the question, which was politics. Yes, in the time of Baba Obasanjo, there were issues regarding states being able to come, because they said issue of supply of energy was on the exclusive list of federal government, but now it has been decentralized, and states can now take over. Now the question is, why are states not buying into it? And these are the challenges.
No, some states are already buying into it.
I'm coming. No, they're not doing the way they need to do it.
Okay.
So
which way forward?
That's how I was coming to. That with the way things are going, we can't just depend on the federal government alone to provide the infrastructure. I am expecting that TCN should be onboarded into region. Let every region be able to transmit its power. Get power generated, get power transmitted. Then they can bring in, you just said it now, there are some people, some area they have a lot of light, a power, in some area they don't have. We can